In 1907, a young Adolf Hitler traveled to Vienna to enroll in the Academy of Fine Arts. His goal was to become an artist, not a dictator. However, he was rejected for being too old. At the time, Hitler was 18 years old. The Academy did not admit students over the age of 14. So with his artistic dreams crushed, Hitler spent the next 6 years wallowing in poverty, developing anti-Semitic views and growing a mustache. But what if this time when Hitler showed up to the Academy, they let him in? Would we live in a peaceful world today, or would there still be war, only with a twist? Let's find out. In our timeline, Hitler is accepted into the Academy of Fine Arts, Vienna. He spends the next several years honing his artistic skills, and in 1913 publishes some anti-Semitic political cartoons. But with the outbreak of World War I, his art career is put on hold as he is drafted into the German army. After the war, Hitler returns to Germany with several medals and commendations for his service. But despite his valor in battle, he is still a nobody, politically speaking. Over the next few years, he tries his hand at a number of different jobs, including being an artist, a journalist, and a private detective, but none of them pan out. Then in 1923, everything changes. Hitler gets swept up in the beer hall putsch, a failed attempt by a group of German nationalists to overthrow the government. Although the putsch is unsuccessful, Hitler's leadership is noticed by some influential people. And after serving a short prison sentence for his involvement in the uprising, he is released and begins to rebuild his political movement. By 1930, Hitler and the Nazi Party are gaining popularity in Germany. But 4 years later, when the Great Depression hits, their popularity skyrockets. By 1933, Hitler and the Nazis are the most popular party in Germany, and Hitler is appointed chancellor. Now, throughout all of this, the key difference is that Hitler never held any official government positions before becoming chancellor. He was never in charge of any ministry and had no experience running anything. So during his first year as chancellor, he focuses on learning how the government works and governing competently. After all, he's now in charge of one of the largest economies in the world, and he wants to do a good job. As such, Hitler ends up not being as bad as he could have been. With the economy improving under his competent management, he is able to avoid some of the more extreme policies that he outlined during his campaign. For example, while he does pass some anti-Jewish legislation, it's not nearly as severe as the Nuremberg laws of our timeline. Furthermore, Hitler's foreign policy is much less aggressive. In 1936, when Italy invades Ethiopia, Hitler does not protest. Instead, he sees this as a chance to improve relations with Italy. This policy of appeasement continues with regards to Spain as well. Hitler does not intervene in the Spanish Civil War, which ends in 1939 with the Republicans winning. This brings us to 1939 and the beginning of World War II. As the French and British were preparing for a possible German invasion, Hitler was making preparations for an Italian invasion of France. Hitler felt that the best way to ensure German dominance in Europe was to control the French colonial empire. With Italy weakened from fighting the Spanish Civil War, Hitler felt that now was the perfect time to launch an invasion of Egypt and North Africa. But before he could do so, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. This caused the United States to enter the war, which quickly became a stalemate. Realizing that he couldn't win, Hitler negotiated a peace treaty with the Allies, ceding Alsace-Lorraine back to France and allowing the British colonies in Africa to remain intact. With the war over, Hitler returned to Germany to a hero's welcome. Having proven himself to be a capable leader, he was elected to another term in 1945 and began working on improving relations with the Soviet Union. By the end of the 1940s, Western Europe was largely under the control of the French and British, while Eastern Europe was controlled by the Soviets. Germany was recognized as a legitimate power in Europe and had good relations with both the US and USSR. Meanwhile, Japan had been devastated by the atomic bombs and the US occupation. As such, the Americans were able to install a puppet regime in Japan and turned the country into a capitalist democracy. So what does the world look like in 1960? Well, the US and USSR still exist, but their relationship is much more cordial as they are still reeling from the devastation of World War II. Meanwhile, Western Europe is largely pacifist, with the nations there working together to rebuild the continent. The main power brokers in the world are the US, USSR, China, Japan, and Germany. And of these, the Germans are considered the most unpredictable. While they haven't blown up yet, many believe it's just a matter of time before Hitler's destructive tendencies cause him to start another war. As such, the other nations of Europe keep a close eye on Germany, not wanting another war on the continent. And that's what the world looks like in 1960. If Hitler got into art school, a peaceful world may be possible. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Thank you for watching.